We're now looking at problem number 5 from our homework. So it's also asking you to find the derivative. What's given to you is not what's the original function. It tells you what's f of two inputs put together is going to be like, and also give you a little bit information about limits. Since it doesn't tell you what's my original function, well, the only thing I can do is to try to go through the calculation of definition where they give me some kind of limit expression. So according to that, I have f of x plus h minus f of x over h. So first thing first, what is f of x plus h? Well, f of x plus h, technically, I don't really know what's that, but if you just use the information given to you, it says if you have two parts adding together, you are supposed to have f of the first piece plus f of the second component plus twice of the first component squared times the second one, and then 3 times x times y squared. So if you literally mimic the behavior, the only minor difference is now you are calling your y to be x. So it's not too hard to realize your answer is f of x plus f of h. Every time you see y, you call it h now. It's 2x squared times h plus 3x times h squared, okay? So those things you have in the parentheses, they are placeholders, so whatever you change, whatever way you change it, just make sure you change it systematically. So every single y you observe in my expression is now changing to h. So now I want to find the difference. So I have my numerator, that is to say I have f of x plus f of h plus 2x squared times h plus 3x times h squared minus my f of x. And of course, I want to divide it by h according to the definition. So there's a quite obvious cancellation. So what's left is going to be f of h plus 2x squared times h plus 3x times h squared over h, and I want to find the limit of this expression. To find the limit, my numerator end up with f of, my numerator end up with f of h plus 0 divided by 0, so the whole thing is not very intuitive. However, if you go back, you notice that I give you something extra. I tell you if f of x over x as x goes to 0, what exactly is that? So let's just rewrite what we have here and try to observe. So its limit h approaches 0, f of h plus 2x squared h plus 3x h squared over h. If you look at it, the second half of it is technically some kind of rational function in terms of h. So I can make my life way easier if, just like what we did before, I divide and conquer. So if I were to split my limit problem into two parts, both parts hopefully can be solved easily. Right, we did say summation of limit of summation is the same as summation of limits, so I can handle those two problems separated. The first part, well, technically, I don't know what's that, but if you compare to what's given to you, you can see they are literally the same thing, except every time you see x in the top structure, you now call it h. Well, it's just a matter of changing variable, so they are technically mathematically equivalent expression, so it's directly given to you, it's supposed to be 1/2. So I know this expression is 1/2. Well, what's left is this expression, but if you do substitution, you realize numerator, denominator both goes to 0. So you can find the answer pretty easily, I would say, by simply doing a quick factor where the h can cancel out. So the only thing left is that term, but since h goes to 0, so 3x h goes to 0. So what's left for you is the final expression is 1/2 plus 2x squared, which is your final answer, right? So, well, this may not be exactly what you have in your problem, so you may want to modify the calculation based on what's given to you in your version of the homework problem.